All right, here we are, Adam, and today we have a very dark topic, Adam and Matt.
Mhm.
And what is that topic?
Well, Matt, we're going to be talking about how to protect your business from vengeful ex-employees.
So, are we talking about how to protect your business, like as in we get a new door, or we buy a Glock and we just pow pow, or what are we talking about? Give me a little
Uh,
context here, sir.
we're talking about
You're a little
when,
vague. We need to bring
yeah,
it in.
bring it in. So we're talking about you've had the tough talk, you've let an employee go, and that person still has access to your data, to your files, to your programs. It's
So,
the stuff that slips
before
through
we
the
talk about
cracks.
solutions, you say the data. So, what could they do with the data?
Well, I would say there's a couple of things. They could change the data.
Hmm.
They could delete the data, they could steal it and sell it to somebody
Could they
else.
delete the data for the whole company?
That's a very likely possibility. I've seen it done.
So you've seen somebody, they go, you're fired, and then the guy's like, I mean, I'm just speculating. The guy's like, let me just get a couple things out of my desk, and then whoop, delete everything.
Well, actually, it was believed to have happened from the person's home. They went home. They weren't even in the office.
Oh, so they got fired,
Yep.
and we're talking about, by the way, protecting them from information. We're not saying
Yes.
them
Yeah.
coming in and
Not physical. We're
right. Then
talking
you get a
digital.
security.
Yeah, security,
No, I mean you
digital
get a security
security.
guard if they're gonna come in and beat you up, right? You get it
No.
like a
That's not what we're
bodyguard
talking about here. We're
or
talking
like a
about
pit bull. You get like a pit bull and you go, yeah, he's coming back, get him, right? But we're not talking about that.
no.
Or
What
like
we're
a
talking
club.
about is digital assets.
Yeah. Stay focused. I had some cold brew. It just kicked in, right? All
Do
right,
this.
back to business. So they go home, they get fired, and they're like, that son of a gun, they fired me. And they run home, get on their computer, tickety tickety type, and the IT company didn't log them out,
Correct.
and they can log back in, and then what?
And they can access whatever files they had access to before.
So they can delete
And
it. What else could they do with it?
well, they could delete it. They could change information.
Change it, and then
They
I
could
would
also
think steal it, right, and bring it to the
they could steal
competitor.
it. Right. They could sell it to a competitor.
Here's
Correct.
the customer list, and then another thing I think we didn't say is if there's proprietary information or private information that they have access to, they could get it and then report them for having a breach.
That is correct. Yeah, violating compliance. I mean, that could bring huge fines, especially if that information gets sold or distributed.
So the thing that I see with businesses is like they don't think it will happen to them because everybody's like, I'm good friends with my employees.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, hey, I trust this person.
Right.
They'll take this firing well. We're not going to have issues.
Right. So so
And when a person's lost their livelihood, it's unfortunate of a situation, but a lot of times people just they do unexpected behavior.
unexpected, and they can be vengeful.
Yeah,
And so you're
absolutely.
saying the vengeance means change the behavior. I'm sorry, change the information, steal the information,
Or delete.
expose the information, or delete the information.
Correct.
And you're going to talk about ways that people could go to their current IT guy or IT team and say, "Are we doing this?" Because if they're not
Sure.
doing it, it means they're exposed to that happening.
hmm
Okay, so how many ways, just so we can frame it out for our audience, would you
Well,
say we're going to talk
initially,
about?
sure. Initially, I would say that three things
Three.
specifically come to mind.
Okay.
So the first one is, and this is something that should be done right away for all your employees, is let's ensure that employees can only access the information that they need to access.
Okay.
If people can, that's a common issue we find is people can get access to everything. So
Right,
we
and
need
this
to,
isn't even on topic, but like, yeah, you don't want the salary spreadsheet in the common folder.
perfect
How come
example.
Fred makes $2 more an hour than me? It's
Yeah,
probably not a good thing to keep
yeah,
hanging around.
right.
So
And
that's an
that's a
example.
conversation to be had with the IT company.
Right. So internally, you have to have the infrastructure so that you have a place to set your files up, that you can then protect from other people seeing it. But then you still have to have usability that only you and the people that need to see it can see it, and then the other people can't.
Right. So that's upfront taking it's siloing information so that if something does slip through the cracks, it isolates and it creates a buffer.
Okay, that sounds good. What's number two?
So the second thing is when a person is terminated, we need to evaluate, okay, what access did they have, right? So everybody's got their own username. And so the best way of handling that is typically informing your IT company in advance of the termination. Now, we know that can't always happen. Sometimes terminations happen in a moment, but it's best if we can alert our IT company and say, hey, tomorrow at 5 o'clock, this person is going to be terminated. That gives the IT company time to disable their account in all the programs and on their computer, as well as through what's called a VPN. That's a common way for people to access remotely from home into the network.
So just to be a little bit snarky, so the IT team gets notice, and then the person goes in to fire the guy, like you're fired, and then the IT team goes boop, and then boop, and then all those
Correct.
things get shut off, so they can't run home and
That is correct.
re-access.
So while they're in the meeting, right at 5 o'clock, receiving the notice, hey, you're being terminated, the IT company's on the other side, and then boop, terminating that access.
Okay, and then
so even if the person does go back to their computer,
right,
they are locked out.
And what's the third?
The third one is to do a review on that person's computer. Okay, and I would even couple two things here. Actually, I tell you what, I want to back up just a little bit. Depending upon the role of the person.
I'm so
as
sorry
an
to
example,
interrupt you.
yeah.
I know what you just said. Depending on the role, we're gonna get back to it in a minute. I just need to let our viewers know that I drink cold brew, and it's a French press. So on the bottom are the grounds, and I notice when I drink it, it looks like I'm drinking out of dirt, but it's not dirt. It's coffee. It's a fresh cold brew that we make at my home.
There's no judgment here, sir.
Well, I'm not worried about you as much. I'm worried about our viewers, and by viewers I mean we have 4. Okay, back to what you were saying, sir.
So just to step back a little bit, depending upon the role of the employee, take an office manager, for instance. He or she may have access to administrative users aside from their own user account. That should be taken into consideration when we're either deleting or disabling accounts and or changing password accounts. So for instance, with an office manager, it's likely he or she has her own. She probably also has the password to the administrator account. The IT company should be tracking that information, but it's a good thing to bring up saying, hey, we're going to terminate Sarah's account, but should we be changing our administrator passwords as well? The IT company might be like, that's a great idea. We're going to do that.
Now, what I wanted to say is based on the experience I've had working with you, you've shown me examples of people's servers where they fire somebody and they change the password of that person, and you've told me that that's not enough.
You're 100% right. It's almost like, if you think about a house, and it has a bunch of doors, right? Each doorway is a user account. And really all that changing a password does is change the key to the lock. The door's still there, the lock's still there, it's just a different key. And a dedicated person could start attacking that doorway, meaning they're trying different passwords.
Right.
Eventually they could get in.
Every key in their thing. Whoop, ching, ching, ching. Right. Or a nail file like it in the movies with Tom Cruise where he uses like a nail. I don't know if Tom Cruise does that, but I just feel like he does. And so what's the better way?
So the better way is to take the doorway out. Take it out, seal it over, and make it a wall.
So
and really what that translates to.
And put it somewhere internally. So you don't lose
what
the
it means
data, but you lose the door.
Is deleting that account, correct?
Got it.
And a lot of times people's fear is, if I delete Sarah's account, I'm going to delete her information. The good news is, in most cases, and I would always discuss this with your IT company in advance, in most cases, the account is independent of their data and their email and everything else. So deleting the account does not delete their information. But again, please check with your provider to ensure that that's the case for your situation.
So the bottom line is these are the top 3 things to keep people safe are: 1, I'm kind of doing a recap here that we just discussed. Keep people safe from their employees leaving and hurting their data. Number 1, they should
Give access only to what is needed for
Perfect.
their job.
So secure only access so that they at least can't mess up the rest of the company.
Hmm.
Number
Hmm.
two, let me guess on this one. Tell the IT company ahead of time
Yeah.
so
Give them
that if
notice.
a firing is coming, they have all their ducks in a row.
Hmm.
And I know it sounds very meticulous and heavy-handed, but really the way to do it is once that person comes in for their offboarding meeting to get the bad news, that's when the IT company should be turning them off. I
That is
mean, some
correct.
people could do it beforehand, but then the person might know that they're fired. And what's the
Correct.
third?
And the third one is to ensure that all usernames and passwords are getting terminated. Um, I want to couple that with having a thorough review of that person's computer. That's important because they may have other remote access methods on their system that were not IT approved. There's a number of programs out there that people can pay for themselves to get remote access. And we want to ensure that there's no backdoors.
Got you. So that all this should be in place to keep your company safe. And if it isn't in place, you should talk to your IT company and get them to put those things in place. And then if that isn't in place, you should ask us. We'll tell you if it's in place. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That
Us
is
is in
correct.
Intelligent Technical Solutions.
Intelligent Technical Solutions.
Thank you for your time today.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care.